Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the DTM Esports Championship 2020. My name is Luke Crane, and I am joined by the very suave-looking Tobias Brockman. How you doing, bud?
Yeah, I'm totally fine, Luke, and I'm very happy to be here with you for the first round of the DTM Esports Championship this year. And we are at one of my favorite tracks tonight.
Yes, we are. We're at the Nürburgring GP, and actually DTM was just there for 2 weeks in a row, a doubleheader at the GP variant and then the sprint variant. Today we are at the GP circuit, and well, we have got some of the very best sim racers in the world of not only racing, but just in the world in general. We've also got some of the world's best pro drivers, and we've also got Jimmy Broadbent here, one of the most well-known sim racing drivers in the world himself. And well, Tobias, what are you looking forward to the most here within this championship?
Well, seeing all those names on the list that I have in front of me right here, it's gonna be an epic spectacle on track as well. And I want to see what real race driver might be faster than what sim driver.
Yeah, it will be interesting. We've got drivers such as Kelvin van der Linde, who raced in our Race at Home challenge during this crazy pandemic. They're still going on in the world, and he showed some real class there. Timo Glock as well, really excited to see how well he does. And well, let's talk a little bit about the format of this championship. So we've got 3 weeks, 6 races, 2 races each week before we then indeed have our final. I'm just going to call it the super final because I'm already excited, but there are going to be 2 races each evening, 8 minutes of qualification and then a 20-minute timed race. So both races have qualification, no reverse grids or anything like that. There will be an individual championship, so there's 25 drivers in total, and there also will be a team championship. So there are going to be 6 teams, 6 pros who have got 3 drivers with them. It's going to be super exciting, Tobias. I'm super excited for it. Me and you have been, well, I don't know, just chatting and sort of a little bit nervous about it as well, because genuinely I have zero idea who's going to come out on top in this, because everybody is just so super fast.
Yeah, I mean, Emre Cihan, who's literally always on top of the leaderboards in the race room leaderboard challenges, and also won the qualifier. You have, of course, Jack Keithley in there as well, who is like the driver with most wins on the race room platform. You got, for example, Florian Hasse, Moritz Lohner, you have to say hello as well to. And, of course, your favorite, it seems, like Lukas Müller.
Yeah, Lukas Müller was incredible in the Formula E Race at Home in the summer, I guess, early summer. He was absolutely phenomenal there and nearly came close to winning it. But Erhan Jajowski, I think, is someone to really look out for. McLaren Shadow finalist. He also has indeed been in the world's fastest gamer. He is more of an R Factor 2 specialist. And, well, Timo Glock has kind of got an all-rounder team. So Timo Glock's team, for me, are kind of the underdogs. Which team are you looking at as the potential favourites to take home the championship?
Well, seeing that Jack Keithley is driving for Team Schara, I mean, there is a high possibility. Also, Lukas Müller is in there as well. And those combined points, also with the German driver of Leon Rüdinger, that might help them.
Yeah, I completely agree there. So the points will be the same as a DTM trophy. So it'll be 25 points for the win, 18 points and 15 points, so on and so forth. Everybody knows the top 10 score points, very similar to Formula 1 as well. But there's a little twist. In qualification, if you get pole position, you score 3 points. If you get second position, you score 2. And if you get third position, you score 1. So there is a maximum every single race of scoring 28 points. There's an individual championship, like we stated, of 25 drivers, but all of the team drivers added up together will make a team total at the end of each week. But now let's have a look at what track we are racing on today.
So before starting your lap, try to get a good run on the start and finish straight. So starting the lap here, up to 6th gear, top speed at around 260. Braking at 150 meters, hard braking sound, down to first, and be gentle on the throttle. Stay in second and just lift the throttle, not braking here. And here be careful on the brakes, you don't want to look up here and hit the inside curb, and inside curb on the right side again. And get a good traction up to 5th. Stay in 4th here, and now down to 2nd. Braking at 100 meters here, Try to not lock up under braking. And now up to Schumacher S. This one is flat in the DTM cars. Up to 5th gear. And I would say 100% on the throttle. Use the curbs. And braking at the 100-meter sign. Try to keep the minimum speed high here and get a good one on the back straight. Here's a good overtaking opportunity. You can use DRS and push the pass here before the tight chicane. Braking at around 100 meters here again, down to 2nd, and be gentle on the curb and get a good run out of the chicane. And now the last corner, down to 2nd, and get a good run again on the start and finish straight. And this was 1 lap on the Nürburgring.
So there's a circuit, the Nürburgring GP. Should be very, very exciting. One of my favorite circuits. It divides opinion in terms of racing, but it's one of the top facilities in the world of motorsport, and also home to the Green Hell. So how could you not love such a place as this? Plenty of overtaking opportunities, Tobias, that's for sure, especially down towards turn number 1. But what characteristics of this circuit are you most looking forward to?
I mean, you kind of have like, it goes up and down a little bit. It's not a roller coaster like Spa, for example. But I mean, with those hard braking zones and the Mercedes Arena for switchback moves, it provides for great racing. It might get difficult through the Mikhail Schumacher S because, you know, you have to slot in behind someone there. If you go side by side, you might lose a lot of time.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more there. I think DRS is going to be a huge factor, and indeed the push to pass as well. And I've actually been watching the DTM over the last couple of weekends there, and very likely they're going to be going through turn 1 on 3 wheels as the way the circuit goes. The turn 1 is just such a unique circuit. It just bottoms out, so it's going to be very, very tough for all of these drivers. But again, we've got 6 teams, 6 pro drivers. We've indeed then got 3 sim racing pros that are with that team as well. And wow, it should be really, really, really exciting. 5.1 kilometers here as well. But I think the key corner for me, Tobias, will be the final corner, the Coca-Cola curve, as it was once called. You've got to set yourself up there, because if you get caught napping and you get someone in behind you that gets a better run, it's a long way down towards turn number 1.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, the last corner, it's all about the exit over there. And I mean, you know, it starts with a chicane beforehand as well, because if you don't get the speed out of there, you might already be prone to an attack before the last corner even.
Yeah, the curbs will also really unsettle the car as well into that chicane. They are very, very highly raised. Hopefully, we're going to be able to talk with one of our pro drivers as well very, very shortly. And then we get into the racing. So it looks like we actually are now able to talk to Timo Glock. So Timo, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, yeah.
Not sure Timo can hear us. So
yeah,
Timo?
I can hear you guys.
Hey, Timo.
Oh,
how you doing? You all good?
Yeah, all good, yeah.
So I watched you at the Race at Home Challenge earlier this year, and I believe your first event was at Monza, and you had 12 hours experience on the sim rig at that point. It was delivered during the week, and you really performed well. You managed to get yourself a P4 that day. How has it gone in terms of the sim rig? Obviously, you've gone back to real racing as well, currently 8th in the DTM Championship. But how has the sim racing been going since that day?
Actually, I jumped back in today for the first time. So at the moment, still struggling. I'm not getting any lap together. Every time having a penalty. But I try my best. I mean, it's slightly different than the game before, the race that we did at the beginning of the year. But I try to deliver. But it's going to be difficult. I mean, the guys are super quick. No idea how they do it.
Yeah, they certainly are. What do you think about your teammates as well? For me personally, I see you guys as the dark horses, because the 3 drivers you have aren't really renowned for being sort of the top race room drivers, but they are some of the best all-rounders in the world of sim racing. So how do you feel with your team of 4, let's say?
Yeah, I mean, I hope they are quick, you know. I mean, I think one of the guys, I just looked or tried to challenge.
Timo, did you get that one?
When I practiced. Sorry?
I think we might have lost Timo there, unfortunately. But it was great to hear from him there, Tobias. He's not been able to give us his view. Oh, he can hear us there. What's your thoughts on your team going into this?
No, I just hope they're going to deliver. They need to help me out a bit, for sure. But let's see. I mean, they seem to be quick, so I hope we can turn things around.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we wish you the very best of luck, and hopefully you get some big results over the next couple of races.
Thank you.
So there you go, Tobias. There is Timo Glock. And one thing that really, really has struck me in terms of his sim racing is he always races with a smile. He's always really, really happy in terms of just being involved in sim racing. Of course, the real racing's back now, so the focus indeed is not so much on sim racing, but he seems pretty calm and composed, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, compared to an event in Munich, where I saw him as well on the sim racing rig, where he looked a little bit more stressed out. This is almost like a Sunday drive for him, like optically at least.
Yeah, for sure. I just touched upon there. Unfortunately, Timo didn't hear my question about the 3 drivers that indeed he will be racing with. And for me, I feel like they are the dark horses of this competition. Again, not really renowned for their race room expertise, but they are some of the best drivers in the world of sim racing. So I'm excited to see how well they perform with these new cars. And actually, to be fair, not many, none of these drivers have really got too much experience with the car because they've only been in the game for 2 weeks. So yeah, excited to see how it's going. And wow, I think we might be nearly ready for some racing action. So that will be coming up very, very shortly.
In der Boxengasse werden die letzten Vorkehrungen getroffen. Volle Konzentration bei den Piloten. Die Spannung steigt ins Unermessliche. Ein fulminanter Start! 2 Piloten liefern sich ein knallhartes Kopf-an-Kopf-Rennen. Ich glaube, mein Schwein pfeift. Sie schmeißt den Turbo an, hebt ab und fliegt als erst ins Ziel. Auf die Pole Position. Jetzt in Führung gehen mit dem besten Gaming-Equipment zu rasant günstigen Preisen. Also gib Gummi und bring dein Gaming auf ein neues Level. Online auf mediamarkt.de/DTM. Mediamarkt.
Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen. We are very, very close to the first qualifying session and finally some racing action, which I cannot wait for. It's going to be super, super exciting for all of us concerned. And well, let's have a little talk about the new graphics with the race room for this championship specifically and what we're going to be looking out for. Tobias, for me and you, it's very, very easy. But what they're going to be looking out for in terms of like purple sectors, green sectors, greys, if you can explain that process so people know who's going fast and who's maybe not going so fast.
You know, so each sector you have, of course, a timing loop on where the current time gets stopped. And the purple sector, for example, means that this time is the fastest time of all the drivers. A so-called green sector or green time means that it's the personal best sector or lap. And of course, gray just means it's just slower than before.
Yeah, Tim Heinemann knows all about purple sectors. He's actually one of the German commentators for this, and he only deals in purple sectors. So yeah, we're going to see lots of new graphics here. It's going to be very similar to people who've been watching the actual DTM Championship, the DTM Trophy Championship over the last couple of months. All of the graphics are going to look very similar to that. So you will see little tally lines next to their name. And indeed, if they're going quickest out of everybody, it will go purple. It will go green for their personal best. And if it's grey, no one needs to be worried about that. No one wants to be going grey. That is for certain. But yes, a whole new refresh here on Race Room. New cars around the Nürburgring GP, a new Esports Championship, the best of the best in the world. Wow, what more can you ask for? And again, just to reiterate, we've got a 8-minute qualifying session and then a 20-minute timed race. In qualifying, and you may notice that the qualifying just cuts off at the 0. Indeed, that is it. Once they hit 0, you cannot finish the lap. It is just not a possibility, indeed, for them to finish that lap time there. So it looks like we might have another interview here. Hello, who are we talking to this time? We haven't had confirmation as to who it is, so hello.
Hi, guys.
Who are we talking to right now? I have no idea. I've not been told.
it's Mirko Bortolotti, my dear.
Oh, Mirko. How you doing?
Hey, guys. I'm doing well. What about you?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. Can't complain. We were just actually discussing before the broadcast came in whether you might actually be Marco Reus in disguise. You look very similar to Marco Reus, the Dortmund player.
Wow. Well, I can't play football like him, so That's for sure. But I try to be fast in a race car.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't race cars as fast as you do, probably. So that's fair.
I hope so.
How are you feeling going into this? Are you excited? Have you got any expectations?
Well, for sure excited. Looking forward to it. I think it's a great event, and yeah, quite interesting. As Timo said, there are quite some fast guys out there. So I think that for the pro guys, it's gonna be a hard night. But yeah, we just try to put it all together, do the maximum we can, and let's see where we end up at the end.
Awesome stuff. We wish you the very best of luck with your performance today, to you and your team. And well, go out there and get those big points.
Thank you.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There is our 2 of our 6 pro drivers. They're seeming pretty relaxed, I'm not going to lie. Which, again, on the eve of their first ever sim race of this season, it's pretty exciting. But now we're going to head to some gameplay, finally, some racing action, some qualifying. And wow, this is the best bit, isn't it? This is where we get to see all of the drivers indeed do their business. And well, we've got 6 minutes, 50 seconds left of the qualifying session right now. And well, we are currently on board with then Timo Glock then in the number 23. And as you can see, they're all trying to get some warmth in the tyres. And we saw this, well, I saw this on the weekend here, Tobias. It took sort of 2-3 laps for them to really get the warmth into the tyres. It shouldn't take that long here within race room. But again, these cars will snap so quickly on them. So they need to indeed maximise their performance. They need to maximise their preparation for this. But now they are starting their lap times. And, well, take us through the lap here, Tobias.
Yes, Timo Glock is going for the first corner, as you said there. It's bottoming out here, but you can take like 4 or 5 different lines. And after that, as we're looking now at Mikhail in the number 18 BMW going through the corner as well. I mean, for a quick lap time, there is only 1 line. Then you have to go to the outside very much to get the perfect apex here through the next corner into the Mercedes arena. And then this is also a crucial part, stick to the inside here on the curb, as he's doing perfectly, so you can straighten out the car nice and early to get as much acceleration as possible. As you can see, they're using DRS as it's allowed during the qualification as well. You can see the wing moving up and down. Now the downhill section of the circuit, which is not that difficult to take, but usually you don't want to take too much overtaking action over here. But now this would be a place, a hard braking zone as well, where you could try an attack, as we change the car to Jack Keithley, who set a purple sector already in sector 1, so we have the picture of him as well on the right. Going through the Mikhail Schumacher as now on board. I'm not sure on these cars with that much aero, but usually you want to lift it a little bit not to get thrown out as well. Next time also all the way on the AstroTurf on the outside, all the way on the inside, taking as much curb as possible, then swerving again to the right hand, and then what I call in German the Geradeauskurve, which is turn where you literally just go flat out. And you know, you can see how relaxed he was going through that sector. So that's probably just him being Jack, and another purple another purple sector for him going through the chicane, which is crucial. A lot of people taking a lot of curb there, but I think he's not comfortable with the time he took, so he's trying to do another start.
He went green there. He went purple through sector 1, but of course he was one of the first drivers to indeed come through. But he just wasn't comfortable through that final sector. But it is Moritz Lerner then who is going to take provisional pole as it stands. Then 143.891. Then we've got Chihan in P2. Dinier then is in P3, 9/10 behind. Yarshall then is in P5. And well, there we go. Yayovsky up into P2 here, only half a tenth of a second behind. I think we're going to see the times tumble here, Tobias, that's for sure. This is not going to be the quickest times of the session. And well, you were talking about this curve here, that's turn number 3. They really do use the inside of the curve to help rotate the car.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, you got more grip on the outside, so it turns around the car a little bit. And then if you hit the exit perfectly, you get like a few kilometers per hour more speed than your opponent, of course, which helps you overtaking before the left-hander.
Yarshall then has just gone purple through sector number 1, and we're going to see a lot of purple there because now Keithley has just gone purple through sector number 1 as well. So indeed, we will see that happening time and time again. Pajic then has gone green here as well. Vanna has gone green as well. And Rudinger has gone green here. And Ivanov now has put in a green sector. So everybody going faster as indeed the session goes on. You had made a really good point there. They are able to use DRS during qualification. That was not the case with the 2016 cars within the game. So that is indeed going to help them there. But what a camera angle that is, by the way, as we are on board with Attila Dinya. It's still Moritz Lerner then, who is on pole position. Only 2 minutes 50 seconds to go, so they're going to get maximum 1 more lap time after this, and then we will indeed head into our racing action. So are we going to see anyone take that provisional pole position away from Lerner? Lerner, who is just an absolute expert on this game, but wow, by 200ths of a second, it's Yarshall that will indeed take P1 here. Again, how long that's going to last, I am not too sure. Yarshall, though, is putting a very, very good bank time here, and he will get 1 more opportunity as well. So what a time that is for... Sorry.
No, just go on. I was just saying that look how close the top 3 are to each other. I mean, if this goes all for the race... Oh, somebody lost the car in the back.
Yeah, that was not ideal. Luckily, you do it in qualifying, it's not too bad, but if you do it in a race, that's of course where you're going to lose out the most. But I think the big story here is that Moritz Lerner and indeed Tim Yarshall, they are both for Team Sheldon van der Linde. So Sheldon is going to be absolutely over the moon. Where is he positioned right now? He is in... Has he got a time in? No, he hasn't got a time in yet by the looks of things. Kelvin's down in P18. Broadbent up to P20. Timo Glock then in P21. Bartolotti then is in P17, and who is the lead pro driver as it stands? I would say that it is actually Bartolotti. So Bartolotti then is the lead driver as it stands. Van der Linde being Kelvin, Muller, Broadbent and Glock rounding out your top 21. A few drivers yet to get a lap time in. Should be 25 drivers, of course. And there we've got Nuninghoff, who's just gone up into pole position as well in the Audi at 43.8. It's not by a lot, but it's by enough.
Yeah, and I mean, with people not being able to start another lap after finishing this one, that might be the lap time that might stand as pole position and would give Nürninghoff, of course, the first 3 points of the evening. But no, Lerner takes the same exact time.
Yeah, I think Yarshall's about to go faster as well, is he not? He did go faster, but he's not indeed put himself onto the front row here. So Lerner does go P1. And well, in terms of the team champ, Keithley up P1, a 1:43.751. And Jack Keithley then has announced himself here, and he wasn't happy with his lap earlier, and well, he just backs his ability every single time. So we are not quite at the end of qualifying. There's still 30 seconds. So it might change here, but as it stands then, Jack Keithley will take pole position with a 1:43.751. Maurice Lerner then only half a tenth behind. Nico Nuninghoff then has done exactly the same time. Yarshall, who was pole position, momentarily is in P4. Then we've got Erhan Yojovski in P5. And actually, if you look at the top 6 there, we've got 3 from Audi and 3 from BMW. So it looks like we've got a manufacturer battle here as well.
But it's just amazing to see that Moritz Lerner and Nico Nuninghoff just raced this exact same time on the thousandths of a second spot. I mean, obviously the system knows who was faster, but that is definitely amazing to see.
Yeah, the times are so close. You know, we expect it to get closer as the championship goes on, but we had 2 drivers getting exactly the same time. And it looks like we might be able to talk to Jack Keithley then. So, Jack, can you hear us? Is Jack there? I think Jack's there now. Jack, how you doing?
He looks
Hello,
nervous
Jack.
a bit.
Well, it doesn't seem like Jack can hear us here. Maybe he can. Jack, you here? Jack's trolling me at this point. Well, you know,
but he looks definitely exhausted. Yeah,
we can just pretend that Jack's here, and well, we know what Jack's going to say. Yeah, I know my own ability. It's fine. It's another pole position along my career. The guy is absolutely ridiculous, and he is the definition of the term alien. But we saw that he not made a mistake. Realistically, it was just a poor final sector for his final lap, and up and towards that chicane, he just wasn't too comfortable. And well, he backed his own ability, and he knew that at the death he had the ability to get that pole position. And well, he went out there and did it.
Yeah, I mean, the smart thing to do was just to break off this lap after the chicane, where he noticed he messed it up a little bit, and just followed someone's slipstream a little bit, just to get a little bit fast of a lap time down into turn 1, a little bit more of speed. But looking at the lap times again, from P1 to P12, everyone is in that 1 second gap.
Yeah, it's really, really close. You know, some of the pro drivers are sort of reaching up into the higher echelons, but they wouldn't have had much practice at all. Where some drivers, you know, they've done thousands upon thousands of laps of practice in the last couple of weeks. And now, do we finally have Jack on the line? Hello, Jack. It would appear we don't. It would appear we don't. So let's leave Jack to it then. Jack's, of course, now going to be going into the racing action. He'll be starting right at the front. So he's, again, not going to be too worried. He's going to be looking behind him. But that first lap is key here, Tobias, because they cannot use DRS. They cannot use push to pass. And it's the opportunity for the pole sitter to try and drive away and get that 1 second advantage.
Yeah, I mean, getting out of this 1 second gap is a crucial thing to do, especially for the leader who can't defend themselves very much. But, you know, the moment he gets behind in one sector, he crosses a sector line in second place, it's his turn now to use DRS and push to pass.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, we've got a little bit of a delay here. Then we will indeed head into some racing action. And, well, it looks like there's going to be a team battle here very, very early on. We've got a manufacturer battle, 2 different manufacturers in the top 6, but it's the brothers. It's the Van der Lindes. Kelvin and Sheldon Van der Linde are going to be battling with each other this evening by the looks of things, but via their pro drivers. And, well, who do you think is going to come out on top here, Tobias?
Well, Kelvin told me that I should tell on stream that he's sitting in a race room simulator at the Nürburgring, having had 0 training at all and added some laughing emojis to it. So let's hope the best for him. Not sure what Sheldon
So he's basically cheating, though, because he's in the race room sim rig at the Nürburgring. Like, legitimately, that's cheating. He's there.
I mean, you know, it helps with track knowledge that you can see 2 meters of tarmac, I guess. But he's not being prepared, he said to me. So let's see what comes out of it.
Yeah, I watched the Race From Home challenge with Kelvin Van der Linde, and every single week was the same. I'm not that prepared. No, I don't feel that confident. And it was right at the top. It was between him and René Rast most weeks. So, yeah, I take what Kelvin says in terms of sim performance with a very big pinch of salt. So, well, actually, now it looks like we get to talk to one of the brothers here. We're going to be talking to Sheldon Van der Linde. So, Sheldon, hopefully he is here. Sheldon, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Sheldon, yeah, we can. First of all, I want to say congratulations on your first ever DTM win this season. I was watching, I was rooting for you. I was super excited, and we could tell with the emotion that you had there how much it meant to you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, mate. It was very, obviously a very good memory for myself. A day I'll definitely never forget for in the near future, at least. But obviously tonight, a different story. We're sitting on the simulator here with a couple of pros, and at the moment I'm getting my ass completely kicked. So, I mean, hopefully the race will be a bit better than in qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, you haven't got to contend with any rain here today, so you should be a lot more comfortable in terms of your performance. But let's talk about the Kelvin versus Sheldon battle here, because you two have got the most drivers represented at the top of the timesheets here. And, you know, of course, it'd be great to do well in this championship, but getting one over your brother, that's got to be the main objective, surely.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm just here to kind of kick my brother's ass, as always. No, I mean, jokes aside, it's always obviously nice to have both of us on the grid, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, he out-qualified me, so 1-0 to him, I would say, but obviously in the race, it's going to be a different story, and he needs to watch his mirrors for sure.
Awesome stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing the Van der Linde battle commence once again. Good luck to you and your team, and hopefully you get the result that you wanted.
Yeah, thank you very much, mate. Catch you later. Ciao, ciao.
So there you go, Tobias. See another pro driver that just seems so relaxed. They, you know, this one thing, I've been involved in many esports competitions over the last year, and there's been some pros that have embraced it and some pros that haven't. And everybody that's involved in this tonight, it really have embraced it, which is really good to see.
I mean, I would be relaxed as well, knowing that my team already has 2 points collected since Barcelona went on P2 in the qualifying. So, yeah, and also, you know, it's always also fun. It's not just work, it's also fun. I mean, you can try different things in virtual life than you can do in the real one.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like we are ready to rock and roll here and head to our first race. Then it will be a 20-minute timed race for these drivers. And in terms of the DRS, they are able to use it in half of the laps that will be the race. So it's about 12-lap race here at the Nürburgring GP. So they'll get 6 usages. And again, they get 3 opportunities to use it per usage. So if they indeed only use it once, they lose 2 DRS activations during the lap. That's going to be vital here, Tobias, isn't it? Of course, we know that lap 1 is the opportunity for the lead driver to try and get away, but they've got to try and at the same time race each other, but they've got to work together here as well if indeed some gaps start to develop during this race.
I mean, especially in the midfield, you might not have that problem of being out of range of DRS somewhere in the race. But there's usually always some groups that form over the course of the race. You have like 4 or 5 cars together, then a gap of a few seconds, etc., etc. So if you're the leader of one of these groups, or like the second one of one of these groups, you really want to think about how much you want to use your DRS, because otherwise you might end up in the middle of nowhere and nowhere to go, no car in front where you can grab yourself, push to pass a DRS, and that's going to be a crucial thing. Not just driving, but also thinking about strategy and about a few laps ahead.
And also drivers who are in a pack, they can sort of not use their DRS at all and save it right to the end. So there could be topsy-turvy, all sorts of shenanigans going down right to the end of each race, which makes it really, really exciting. And there's one big difference for me from the 2016 cars, which was the latest version of DTM cars in Race Room before the 2020s, is that it's more about the driver. These cars will bite you if you do indeed go over the limit. But it looks like we're ready for the racing action, and we already are green here. So no messing around. We are green, and it is the DTM Esports Championship 2020, and we are off. Jack Keithley will indeed take them down in towards turn 1 in the league. Nürburgring then is in second, but there's a little nibble up the inside there. Not quite going to come off, but Nürburgring will hold on to P2. Oh, there's big carnage in the background, a couple of spinners there. So drivers are going to indeed take, well, to be fair, they've all recovered quite nicely there. Through sector number 1, then down towards turn number 3. And again, Jack Keithley, well, he's quite missed the apex there, so a little bit nervous maybe. Can't see Jack Keithley being nervous, that's for sure. Nico Nürburgring there does indeed hold on to P2, and it's vital here, Tobias, that he has to stay within that 1 second. He cannot let Jack get away.
No, definitely not. Nürburgring needs to keep on going out, as well as I think Lona needs to keep up the game as well a little bit. But you can see already Keithley has more of a gap between him and second place than the others further back.
Yeah, it is. Well, it just came down ever so slightly there. So in behind them, they've got Jajowski as well. So he's pretty damn close. So there's a bit of a mistake on the first lap here. But Keithley is doing the job that he needs to do here. Just drive away at this point. Lerner just in behind Jajowski. Rudinger then has moved up into P5 here. Yarshall's moved down a position. Martin Stefanko in P7. Watch out for that driver there. He is notoriously known for his race pace. So I'm expecting to see him come through. Dina then is in P8. Chihan is in 9th. Then we've got Vanna in P10. Romanidis in 11. Luciano Bedin is in 12th. Hassa is in 13th. Muller in 14th. Ivanov in 15th. Pinches then. There's always a Hungarian, ladies and gentlemen. He's in 16th position. Kripner is in 17th. Bortolotti in 18th. There's a bit of a move there in the background. It looks like Dina has gone ahead of Vanna. As we come down across the start-finish line, and this is where DRS push-to-passes are all going to be utilised here. But it is Jack Keithley then of Williams Esports leading the way with Nürburgring in second position. And it's a 1-2 for Audi, Tobias, and it's looking very, very good already here.
Yeah, definitely is. Now we have more movement on track as well. As we get into turn 1, you could see that the standings on the left side moved quite a lot, and I think it looks like Luciano Bedin has lost like 4 or 5 places there.
Yeah, he's down to P14, but luckily he has got one of his teammates, Jajowski, then all the way up the top of the order. We look at the pro drivers here then, and it is Bortolotti, who leads the way. He's P17 as it stands. Timo Glock then is in 18th position. The Van der Linders are P20 and P21, so the battle of the brothers is very close indeed. 0.3 of a second as it stands. We're on board then with Jonas Vanna for the Audi Sport Team Phoenix car. He's in that car here. He's just in behind Dina. There's very, very close between them, up towards that Schumacher S's. And well, if these two keep battling like they've been battling, unfortunately they're going to lose touch with the top 7, and it may become a 7-horse race very early in this race. And that is the nature of DRS, push to pass. Like groups of cars will indeed start to form really early.
Yeah, you can see now Stefanko being away like 1.3, now 1.4 seconds of the gap between P8 and P7. You can see it now on board from Wanner. And on the right we have the rear view, of course. Oh, there's an attack on the inside by P10, by Hasse. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can, from the outside.
That's a beautiful move there from Hasse. Gets the move done. And, well, I think Wanner there has just been caught napping, ultimately. That's just the way it works sometimes. You're looking to go ahead and, unfortunately, you take your eye off the ball. You can see Lerner there trying to put some pressure on Yuyovski. Looks like we've got Pinches that is moving up a position as well. We're on board then with Nuninghoff, and again, he's just losing a couple of tenths of a second every single lap here. Jack Keithley really showcasing his skill set as it stands and leading the way nicely, although just gets the rear stepping out. But again, if you can use that curb to your advantage and get indeed the car rotated, that is definitely a positive here. Romanidis then making a move here on Muller. Muller not able to hold on to it. He's got the inside line out of turn number 4, and there's a bit of contact between the two. And well, Muller is going to hold on to P11 there. Very, very aggressive bit of defence there, but does hold on. Romanidis indeed will stay in P12. Now Ivanov with an opportunity. Again, you know, this is one of those circuits where if you start battling side by side, Tobias, you're going to lose so much time, and drivers in behind you are going to take full opportunities, just like we saw there from Hasse.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought Romanidis would have the upper hand, because on the exit of the Mercedes Arena, usually it's the car on the outside that gets the better exit. Little mistake there as well from, as it looks like, Romanidis again, making him
Hasse's got the move done. Hasse's
Yeah.
got another move done here, Tobias. He's now up to P8. He's got ahead there of Dinya. So P8 then for Hasse, and well, now he's got some clear air here. How much pace does the Audi driver have? He's currently 3 seconds off the back of everybody else. Of course, the drivers in behind are going to utilise push to pass. They are going to utilise the DRS. But Hasse looks like he's got some serious race pace here. Well, is he going to be able to catch up to the group in front? He's got to be hoping that they start battling. Nuninghoff, by the way, 7/10 of a second behind Keithley. So Keithley not really driving away. He's not really driving away completely at this point. Nuninghoff maybe trying to manage that gap. Again, 6/10 of a second. He's going to have relatively clear air from there, so he's going to be able to get his perfect turn-ins and maybe save some DRS towards the end of this race here. You can see that Moritz Lerner was trying to make a move there on Yuyovski. And I'll tell you what, the move has been done. It's P3 now, belongs to Moritz Lerner. So Lerner's moved up to P3. Yuyovski's lost out. Wow, what a battle that was. Battle for P8 as it stands. Then we've got Attila Dinya, Emre Cihan, and we've got Jonas Vanner on the screen there. The graphic detail, superb. Great work there by the team here. And as it stands then, it's a double Audi P1, P2, but there's 3 BMWs in behind. Keithley, Nuninghoff, Yuyovski, Lerner, Yarshall, and well, actually Yuyovski's got back up ahead here. So they were going through sector number 1 side by side, and it's one of those sectors, you know, if you get the inside line through turn number 1, you're instantly on the outside through turn number 2, and it becomes very difficult to make the overtake because you've got 2 corners in a row where you indeed will be on the outside.
Yeah, that is true. And talking about graphics, we've just seen that Vanner is under investigation, as we now have live marshalling in effect during this championship, and there's contact behind as well. We could just see that between those two drivers, the number 28 car and the number 89 car. That's Audi versus BMW, just behind Ivanov.
Yeah, we're on board there with Ivanov, as you can see there, and we've got Pinches and Luciano Bedin. They were going hammer and tong there. Superb stuff there. And again, as I always say, within Race Room, whatever esports championship it is, there is always a Hungarian, and that will be Adam Pinches, who is actually one of the top runners in the BenQ Challenger Cup, which was on Race Room as well. So yeah, very, very excited to see him here. And now he's actually looking to potentially make another move here, as he goes up the outside here of Ivanov through the final chicane, and Ivanov closed the door there as quickly as it opened. Very aggressive defending. Going to lose time to the driver in front here, but Pinches, you shall not pass this lap.
Yeah, you can see the concentration on the right. Very focused. Yeah, now not anymore now, since you're on a straight. Also, what I like seeing on this start-finish straight here at the Nürburgring is you can always see when a battle is forming, because they pull up to the pit wall.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Bortolotti, by the way, was battling there, and actually he's got ahead. Has he got ahead there of Pajic? He has. So, yeah, he is up ahead now. So Bortolotti is the lead of the pro drivers right now into P16. The Van der Lindes have been split right now as well, as we do indeed look at the battle for rank 16 then. We've got Pinches, we've got Krippner, we've got Mirko Bortolotti as it stands, or as he does look so much like Marco Royce.
I mean, yeah, on that picture, I actually have to tell you, yeah, okay, that's totally. I mean,
Marco Royce looks like Mirko Bortolotti, if we're going to be completely honest.
Let's tell it this. Yes, Exactly. I mean, Marco Reus likes fast cars. I mean, he doesn't drive them on racetracks, but there's a similarity.
Absolutely. Oh, Fabio Scherer has been disqualified for speeding in the pit lane. So that is not good. So that's the first disqualification we have seen from this championship so far. And well, luckily for Team Scherer, they've got the race leader right now in Jack Keithley. So it's not going to be all doom and gloom there. So yeah, as you can see, it says disqualified there from this race. And actually, they've got another driver in the top 10 in Muller. And actually, Rudinger is in P6 right now. So as much as Fabio Scherer is out this race, it is looking so good for Team Scherer. We've got a battle for the lead here, though, Tobias. And as you can see, Nürburgring has waited and waited and waited. He's closed up here ever so gradually underneath the rear wing. Runs out wide then through turn number 1. And wow, he's going to go for the switchback here. Keithley runs out wide. He will now automatically have the inside line for the next 2 corners. You can see him fighting with the oversteer of the car there, using the curb to rotate the car as well. Runs off onto the AstroTurf, and wow, Keithley just making that car as wide as he possibly can. And again, you can see what the dirty area is indeed causing Nürburgring to do. And wow, the overcorrection there has lost him a load of time. Jack Keithley lives to fight another day.
Yeah, Team Scherer versus Team Kelvin van der Linde. But you can definitely see how hard it is to drive this car at the limit. Oh, and we got a message from race control because Bortolotti gets a 10-second penalty.
A 10-second penalty there, unfortunately, there for Bortolotti with a collision with Adam Pinches. So that will be added at the end of this race to his race time. Well, we did have Chihan in between the van der Linde brothers, by the way, and now they are, again, separated by about half a second. So there's still Kelvin leading Sheldon, but Emre Chihan then has moved up in a position here. Timo Glock now next up for him. Timo Glock then is currently in P18, and actually he might become the lead pro driver indeed because of that penalty. We are already over halfway in this race. Can't believe it's flown by. Absolutely flown by as it stands then. And well, we've got Lucas Muller here, Roman Ivanov and Adam Pinches then battling for that position there. But look at this, it is a battle for the lead. And you can see that, well, Nürburgring is probably, I think, got the outright pace here over Jack Keithley. If he keeps it on the straight and narrow, Tobias, you're seeing so many mistakes from him. If he can just nail one lap here and keep all the wheels rotating in the right direction, he's got a real shot of winning this race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it looks great for him. He's pretty consistent with his lap times. He's pretty consistent with his lines on the circuit. You don't see the rear stepping out as much as you can see with Nürburgring, for example. So, yeah, again, we have the same camera angles as before, but now more distance from Nürburgring and even more mistakes. You're getting far too wide out on the AstroTurf, which unsettles the car even more. I mean, just look how Keithley handles the car. It's more like watching ballet dances.
Okay, you're giving him all the compliments today. He's going to be absolutely buzzing with you later on. I don't know if he's been slipping you any money to be saying all these nice things about him, but fair play if he has indeed. But you saw that they have completely different driving styles there. Keithley's very, very early on the brakes, and he runs the corner out nice and wide on the exit and maximises the speed, whereas Nürburgring was going into the corners really deep and slow on the exit. So maybe Nürburgring needs to just change it up ever so slightly. But that is also going to be an effect of the dirty air.
Yeah, dirty air is always the topic with cars with that much aero on their disposal. You can lose so much of time, so much of rubber as well on the tires. I mean, they get hotter than they would in free air, obviously, since they have to do all the grip management, and the aero stuff that we paid a lot of money for is useless.
Yeah, that's for sure. I can't disagree with you there, Tobias. That is an absolute fact there. This is a battle for P5 then. Rudinger, Jarschel battling for this position, and they've just lost touch then with the battle for P3 as it stands. Bortolotti, another 10-second penalty for hitting Pinches in turn 1. I think that might be the same penalty, unless he's can't have hit him twice in the same turn. Again, that will be clarified in the official results post-race. But yeah, Bortolotti there. He's getting a bit of a slap on the wrist today. 0.2 of a second then between our race leaders here. Keithley has led from start to finish, qualified pole position. So we did indeed get 3 points already here. So he wants to maximise it. He wants to get the big 28, add 25 from the race victory. Well, it will be a very, very good day in the office here. Glock then is in behind Chihan. We've got battles in ahead of them actually as well. It looks like Pajic and Pinches is having a battle for position down towards turn number 1. The race leader, hold on, what's gone in here then? Well, Nürburgring is, well, there's been a mistake. Nürburgring's now down into P4. Maurice Lerner has moved up to P3, so they are actually officially teammates for Williams Esport. He's moved up to P3, and Yajowski now into P2. So Jack Keithley's almost been gifted a victory here.
I mean, that smells like a mistake in the Mercedes arena, and maybe a spin or at least a huge slide. But now Moritz Lohner wants, of course, the second place, but you can again see how much they have to fight with these cars. Now going up Mercedes, the Mikhail Schumacher, as you can see, he's very aggressive on those curbs, even on the left side. But I still wonder what happened to Nürburgring.
Yeah, well, hopefully we will indeed get a replay of that at some point. But yeah, not ideal. He is actually closing up to the back of this pack here, so he was almost guaranteed a P2. But mistakes indeed happened here. And well, how quickly is he going to be able to potentially make an overtake here? Muller is under investigation as well there. You pointed out there was a bit of contact earlier, Tobias, and well, the investigation is underway. So Muller will be hoping that he indeed doesn't come under any penalties or any scrutiny. He's gone from P14 to P10, so he really is travelling well during this race. Carlo Luciano Bedding, another driver, he's P15 a couple of laps ago, now up into P12. And he's actually in behind Dinya. We've then got Keithley leading the way then, 2.9 seconds. Yayovsky is in second, Lerner is in third. Nuninghoff then, who I thought was potentially going to win this race, he's right up behind Keithley. Seems that there's been a mistake happened here, unfortunately, with 5 minutes 30 seconds to go. He's in fourth. We've got then Rudinger in fifth. Yarshul is in sixth. Stefanko in seventh. Told you about his race pace. He's going up the order. Top 7 looking very, very good right now. That is for sure. We've then got Hassa in 8th. Vanna is in 9th. And Muller is in 10th position. As you can see, Muller, we just spoke about, he is still under investigation. Again, it will all indeed be clarified on your screen. We're on board then with Marko Pejic. Down this was turn number 3. It's actually too wide behind him here between Pinches and Krippner. So Krippner looking to come through here as well. And well, will Krippner be Pinches' kryptonite, Tobias?
Oh man. Yeah, we will see. Let's see in the second race as well. I mean, not all hope is lost for these drivers. They can do another qualifying after this race and after the 4 minutes 50 that remain on this one. But of course, now on board with Emre Can on P17, he definitely wants to have a go in it as well.
Yeah, for sure. Well, he's got no choice here, really. If he wants to make that position, he's got to be doing it in the next 4.5 minutes. So I'm sure we're going to see a little bit of aggression over the next couple of laps here. And they've got to leave it all on the table, that's for sure. Especially with Dinya here, not really battling for P10 as it stands. So unfortunately, this is just for 11th spot. And you see that Luciano Bedin is very much closing in here. As they come through the elbow then, you can see him is visibly closing in up towards then the final chicane. We're going to miss out on that potential overtake here, and while they do go side by side, Luciano Bedin, we've got more side by side action in the background here as well. Then we've got Cihan, who's just made a move on Krippner. So Emre Cihan, the Turkish driver, a bit of an all-rounder within racing. Whatever he turns his hand to, he's pretty quick, very similar to Jack Keithley, but Keithley's just shown no chinks in his armour today, that's for sure. Nuninghoff then, 3 minutes 48 seconds to go here, so I would assume we've got 3 laps remaining of this race. And he needs to just get back into P2 here, more for his mental game at this point, because he's thrown it away by the looks of things. Unless there was contact between him and Keithley, but I don't think they were that close or close enough to go side by side. So for me, there must have been a mistake there, and he's definitely thrown away a guaranteed P2.
I mean, when we were watching him from on board, it looked like his car was very unsettled here and there, and make small mistakes that could add up to a big one at one point. And probably, just guessing, this is what might have happened in the Mercedes arena. He went all the way to the AstroTurf over there, unsettling the car, and maybe he went a little bit too far on the front one this time. But I mean, you can see how aggressive he is on the curbs.
Yeah, you can. He is really leaving nothing out there on the circuit today. It looks like we've got 3 drivers out of this race here, and actually Sheldon van der Linde is one of them then in the BMW 23rd day. You can see the Bortolotti, even though he's got a penalty at the end of this race, isn't going to finish. It's not really going to make much of a difference. And then we've got Scherer as well, who of course is out of this race. He was disqualified. So 3 of our pro drivers are no longer in the race. Yayovsky, by the way, is closing in on Keithley. So I'm wondering whether he might have actually saved his DRS here. We will indeed see the times come down if he has. Has he managed to stay in front of the group behind without using DRS, and he saved it for this entire, for the final couple of laps of this race? That could be a very interesting battle here. Oh, that's very, very close there. Kelvin van der Linde then just about holding onto the car. He's in behind Timo Glock. And Romanidis, well, Romanidis is up the inside, so Romanidis is indeed going to momentarily get a position, and Kelvin van der Linde is going to try and fight back here as he does indeed come across the start-finish line. And well, that was a that you could obviously see what happened there. Big mistake out of the chicane, and Romanidis went, yep, thank you very much, I'll have that.
I mean, definitely, if you just have one wheel driving your car on the tarmac, putting power down on the road, yeah, obviously you're slow on the exit, and Romanidis took absolutely advantage of that situation. Didn't even think a second, just went for it, and it worked perfectly.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Keithley-Yayovsky gap here. It's 2.1 second. Lerner's under investigation here as well. But yeah, I'm looking at Keithley and Yayovsky. The gap's around about 2.2 seconds. I think Keithley's taken his foot off the gas here over the last couple of laps, and then realised very quickly that Yayovsky was closing in at a rate of knots and thought, nope, I'm not going to be giving up any more time here, as Kelvin van der Linde has just left a brown stain on the seat there, because his rear just stepped completely out there, and that is indeed something that will shoot some adrenaline through your body.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably just having fun in his rig, and he would be say that the cover is going very well in this time by, which is now printed on the back of his race car in real life.
Man, he has Mr. Smiles. Honestly, I never saw someone enjoy sim racing as much as I saw Kelvin van der Linde. Find someone in your life that will look at you like they look at sim racing, like Kelvin van der Linde does, because he just loves it. He absolutely is in love with it. And again, it's just great to see him embracing it here. And battle. Timo Glock there running out wide. You can see Kelvin van der Linde's looking on here, thinking, oh, a couple of positions potentially here. Romanidis then looking for a late lunge up the inside. Timo Glock has to lead the room, squeezes him onto the apex, but Romanidis, he's going to get the job done. And well, they are going to drag race down here, but look at Kelvin van der Linde. Kelvin van der Linde is absolutely going to be licking his lips here, thinking there's an opportunity for 2 positions, and if I am here for a bit of fun, I'm here for a couple of positions. Timo Glock late on the brakes then down towards turn number 1. Romanidis runs ever so slightly wide. Glock on the power too early, steps the rear out, and well, Kelvin van der Linde is looking to potentially pick up the pieces. And well, on the final lap of this race, it doesn't matter whether you're battling for P19, P18 or P20, these drivers are giving absolutely everything.
Yeah, and there's a bad message there for Lohner, because he will get a 5-second penalty post-race for hitting Yayovsky somewhere in this race, and Nüninghoff will be back on the podium. So Lohner adding the 5 seconds will end up only on P5.
Yeah, P5 as it stands, but potentially it could be P6 if Yarshall has an incredible final lap here, only around about a second. Ivanov's got a warning for not leaving enough space for pinches. Someone could say he was pinching a little bit too much there. Anyway, let's not listen to my jokes. Let's go to the race leader. It is Jack Keithley, who qualified pole, was under a lot of pressure by Nüninghoff, but Nüninghoff seems to have made a mistake here. And well, since then he's managed it beautifully well. And well, Jack Keithley is about to come across the line and pick up maximum points then. He's got maximum points in qualifying and in the race. And well, Fabio Scherer did not finish the race here today because he was disqualified. But well, one of his team members has managed to get the big points. And actually with Runinger finishing in P5 and Muller finishing in P10, it's going to be 3-point scorers there. In second position, it will be Yayovsky. Lerner will finish in third there, but he will lose a couple of positions. It will be Nüninghoff on the podium. Rudinger will finish in 4th position, and then we will indeed have Lerner in 5th. Yarshall will finish in 6th. Stefanko 7th. Hasser in 8th. We've got Vanna in 9th position, and Muller will round out your top 10. Leader of the pro drivers is Timo Glock. What a race that was. Frantic, mistakes happening. These cars, I told you, will always bite you back. That's just the nature of the beast. We've got Jimmy Broadbent then coming across the line. And well, just to add about Jimmy Broadbent, he's come here, he's got no teammates or anything. He's just here to indeed embrace the esports of DTM, and it's great to see him here. He's had limited practice, but again, he's still turning up and he's still turning laps, and we absolutely love to see that. Fastest lap actually was Yarshall, but it's Jack Keithley here, Tobias, that takes the spoils.
Yes, he does, and it looks like he also has the fastest lap of the race. No, Yarshall was it, as you just said it. 21 minutes is a very fast time if you think about it. He just passed the finish line just about a few seconds before the end. But you know, it's very sad in my opinion for Lohner, who was having a very good race though. You know, sometimes don't drive too aggressive because you can throw opportunities away like that one, and I think for Lohner that really hurts.
I think Nuninghoff's the one to really be feeling sorry for here. It's clearly something's happened. Again, I don't want to say he's made a mistake here. It may have been contact with Keithley. They may have had a bit of a ding-dong. But he had a P2 guaranteed. And unfortunately, it's just not worked out here. But again, talking about Jack Keithley, just there's no chink in this guy's armor today. Already, we're seeing someone very, very dominant here. Qualifying, he gets 3 points. Of course, we got P1, P2, P3 get 3 points, 2 points, and 1 point. And then when it comes to the race, 25 points is the maximum. So it's going to be 28 points then for Jack Keithley. And while we talk about the team championship, and Scherer did not finish this race. The pro driver, the team captain, did not finish the race. But 3 drivers all managed to score points in race number 1, including the race victory. He'll be absolutely over the moon with that.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you do? Just don't finish a race, but still end up with a lot of points. I think that's the dream of every race driver. Even though you have problems or whatever happened, you still can have points. You can still win a championship without even driving. So yeah, that seems relaxed.
I want to talk a little bit about Erhan Yuyovsky finishing P2. Again, he's been in World's Fastest Gamer. He was at the McLaren Shadow Finals. This guy competes on multiple different games. You know, Race Room is relatively new to Yuyovsky, but again, to be mixing it with drivers such as Lerner, to be mixing it with such as drivers as Jack Keithley, you know, this guy's got some serious talent. Tobias there, unfortunately, the police have been called because the police have been called because Tobias is looking so good right now. He is smoking hot, and I think that's the fire brigade to go put him out. Quite frankly.
Okay, so what I wanted to say actually was with Yuyovsky was he was starting on P5. He had Tim Yarsh in front of him, he had Nuninghoff in front of him, and he had Lohner in front of him, and he just marched through all of them in this race. And those are not names to take easy. I mean, he really fought for his position there.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where the future lies for Nuninghoff. Very, very young driver as well. Quite new to the scene. I've not come across him before, to be completely honest with you. So, yeah, really am genuinely excited to see how well he does. Timo Glock was, again, the fastest of the pro drivers. A little bit off the pace, but he'll be pretty happy with his performance.
I mean, he smiled before the race. He's probably smiled during the race with all the fights he had. And I guess he's smiling even more right now since this was a really good result from someone, especially considering where he started the race.
Yeah, we had the Van der Linde battle as well. Unfortunately, Sheldon, who was so cool, calm and composed before the race, was feeling good. Unfortunately, didn't finish, which means Kelvin, by default, was the winner of the brothers. So Kelvin's going to be relatively happy there. But again, it is all about Jack Keithley, who, again, was under a little bit of pressure from Nuninghoff. And, you know, didn't break. Nuninghoff makes the mistake, well, he did indeed come out and take victory. And actually, by the sounds of things, we have actually got an interview with Jack Keithley for the third time's the charm. Jack Keithley, can you hear me? Jack Keithley, can you hear me? No, he cannot. He doesn't need to be talked to. He doesn't need to be doing interviews, Tobias. He's just here to win races. Turn up, win, go home. Fact.
I mean, that works for him. So, yeah, I think he's fine with that as we go again for another session of qualifying. 8 minutes to set the fastest time, just as before.
I'm excited. Tobias, that race one was good. But now I feel like a lot of these drivers would have found the limit with the cars. They would have had a little bit more experience. Some of these drivers may not have actually raced side by side with people of the similar ability. Again, these are the top drivers in the world in terms of sim racing with this car right now. So, you know, they're not going to be in practice with each other because they don't want to give away their tips and tricks. So this is now where we really will see a representation of the pace. And I think Yuyovsky is the one to watch out for in terms of outright pace. I felt like in the final part of this race, he managed the tyres really well because he was really flying at the end. But Nuninghoff, you know, he's got a monkey on his back now. He has to get a big result here. Otherwise, he's going to be waiting now a whole 2 weeks, and he's going to be it's going to be in the back of his head is, oh, what could have been that mistake has cost me? So he wants to put that right now.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I mean, as a driver, you don't know the track which is coming up because all the tracks for the events will be announced on the Friday beforehand. So that means 1.5 weeks without any training. I mean, you can train all the tracks, but, you know, perfection is only achieved when you focus.
Well, everyone's trying to warm their tyres up, and there's one there that just decided, nope, I'm going to get my laps in. So yeah, they're not playing ball, that's for sure. But as we're aboard then with Attila Dinya, who is in the number 5 then. Marko Pajic then is also in the BMW in the number 6 through turn number 1. You've got to go out as far wide as you possibly can there for turn 2. And use a bit of curb there, help rotate the car. You can step the car out nice and wide there, but again, you don't really want to be flat out onto that curb because you can indeed lose the rear. As you can see there, he just got the 2 left wheels of his car on the inside of the curb because it is raised. So if you can get your left wheels into the dip, it will rotate the car for you, pull you around if you indeed use the throttle pedal correctly. Down in towards then turn number 6 before we head down in towards the hairpin. And Pajic looks a very tidy lap so far, especially sector number 1. Sector number 1 is where you can maximise your time here. The real sectors of the circuit is sector 1 and the Schumacher S's is where you can really find some time. If you're very, very indeed greedy on the curbs, you can, again, high risk, high reward. So as you can see here, not much curb being taken here by Pajic. He has got the fastest sector number 1. Sector number 2 you will indeed will come across very, very shortly. But yeah, the Schumacher S's, high risk, high reward, Tobias. We're going to see this in the racing. I think we're going to see a few side-by-sides through there as well because, of course, you know, there is a big wait now for the next racing event. This is the last opportunity for these to score some points.
Yeah, but just imagine Keithley getting another 25 points. That is something every other driver wants to prevent, apart from, of course, the teammates of Jack Keithley, which would be Lucas Müller, Leon Rüdinger, and of course Fabio Scherer. Seeing now the times, Rüdinger is the first to be fastest. Pajic lost a lot of time in the second sector, as it looks like.
Yeah, he's done a 44.0. We will see a 43, that's for certain. So yeah, I wouldn't read too much into that. Again, it's just good to get a banker time in there. And Keithley, 1.7 seconds off the pace right now. So again, we know that he's capable of just leaving it to the end. Hasse goes up there into P1 at 44.040. And if there's someone that knows about getting a double victory at the Nürburgring, it'll be Tim Heinemann, who's one of Race Room's best drivers in the history of the game. He's actually commentated for the German team of this event this weekend. He's currently leading the DTM Trophy Championship, and I say double win. We've been at the Nürburgring GP and we've been at the Nürburgring Sprint over the last couple of weeks, and he has taken 4 wins from 4. So yeah, he's an absolute master. So yeah, shout out to Tim. Hopefully he is all well. Yarshall then's just gone purple through sector number 1, and he's only 2.5 tenths off of potential pole position here. So I think we're going to see this really, really close in here, Tobias, as we head towards the end of this qualifying session. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a completely different front 5.
Yeah, that might actually be the case. I just had a memory of Heinemann's first time on the podium was at Hockenheim in 2018, if I recall correctly. And I actually he let his bottle fall, the champagne bottle from the podium, and he let it fall on the ground, and literally everyone was scared around him that it got exploded, but literally didn't, and then I got a taste as well. So yeah.
Well done.
Doesn't taste good after it doesn't taste good after it's been shaken like it does on the podium. So yeah.
I tell you what, I can trump you. This weekend, he slipped on the champagne and dropped himself. It was hilarious. He actually did a cannonball. It was one of the funniest things I've seen. And we've got the same time posted again here. Yarshall's pole position with a 43.828, and Keithley has put it onto second position with exactly the same time. But Yarshall, wow, that is an exceptional time. And will it stand the test of time during this qualifying session? I guess it remains to be seen. Stefanko then is in third, Hasse fourth, Rüdinger is in fifth position. And, well, it doesn't look like... No, he's nowhere near at this point, unfortunately, during this qualifying session. Yayovsky down in P7. So, yeah, struggling here is Yayovsky. I was expecting him to be right up the front again. Nunninghoff, he's the driver that we really are expecting to put the pressure on. He's got a lot to prove now during this race. And currently, we don't even see him on the timesheets here. The quickest of the pro drivers, again, is Bertolotti. Keithley now has just gone purple through sector number 1, but unfortunately, he's being held up here. And I think he might be in behind Sheldon van der Linde. So van der Linde then is, yeah, just up ahead here. So Keithley's going to lose time, and I think that might be his lap time over. In all fairness, he's furious. Yeah, he's got his hand up in the air. Yeah, I wouldn't do that to Sheldon. that's for sure. But he's angry, but ultimately Sheldon's on a fast lap as well. You've got to learn patience. It may cost him the potential pole position. We will see Sector 2 come through now, and it's great. So yeah, we go 8.5 tenths off. He's not going to be able to improve on his time. And I don't know if there's enough time in the session. We actually haven't got the timing on our screen to tell us how long's left of this session, so we don't know. Moritz Lerner, pole position, a 43.740. He got a penalty in the first race, which put him down from P2, or P3, sorry, down to P5. And well, now an opportunity at redemption very, very quickly indeed. Nüninghoff now P5. And wow, look at this. The top 6 separated by 0.3 of a second. Top 7 separated by 0.3 of a second. The top 16 separated by 0.9 of a second. And Moritz Lerner at the death here, ladies and gentlemen, has taken a pole position at 43.740. And well, that is incredible stuff. Martin Stefanko just moved up to P5. And actually, Erhan Yayovski's gone up to P4. So we've had some movement there as well. But Tobias, Moritz Lerner, he got that penalty at the end of the last race. He would have been absolutely furious. But now, straight away, his mindset is positivity. He's up into P1, a big chance at redemption straight off the bat.
And also, he's 11/100ths of a second faster than Jack Keithley's first qualifying. So that is something to consider as well. So Lerner seems to understand this car-track combination here very good. And Jack Keithley, I mean, he's just in the second row, obviously. But the good thing is, he's directly behind our current pole sitter, Moritz Lerner. So there might be an attack into turn 1 already, setting himself up for the Mercedes arena, and especially turn 3 with the exit of it.
They're on different teams in this championship, but officially in the world of esports, they're on the same team. So they both drive for Williams. I don't know how that's going to work out. Like, I'm not doing the psychology of this. Let them crack on.
No.
But yeah, a big opportunity here then for Moritz Lerner. And he, again, like he's gone from the worst feeling by getting a penalty, losing out on the podium, to the best feeling ever. And then you've got Jack Keithley, who's had the exact opposite. So he had the best feeling by getting maximum points in race number 1 and qualifying 1, to then being held up by Sheldon on his lap time. You can see the frustration, and now he's got a negative feeling in his mind. Is that going to have an effect on this race?
I mean, obviously, the mental effect is always counting a part in these races. Also, following cars is harder than being up front, maybe, if you can focus on the windscreen only. But seeing now that Keithley sees that people drive the same or even faster laps than him do, that might put a little dent in his confidence. Just a little one. He might not notice it, but subconsciously he might do, yeah.
We saw no real aggression from the top 5, to be honest, in the first race. It was kind of like, let's get some big points in this first race. Let's not do anything too crazy. I'm telling you now, Jack Keithley isn't one of those types of drivers. It's very lucky that he was leading the race, because if he's got an opportunity to make an overtake, he will take that opportunity 11 times out of 10. He is like so aggressive in his nature, very of a calculated aggression, let's say. I'm not saying he's going to T-bone people off the track, although you never know. It might happen. But yeah, his calculated aggression is a big trait of his. And wow, seeing him not at the front, I'm really excited to see what he indeed chooses to do during this race. And I think we're going to be expecting fireworks here, Tobias.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his standings again. I mean, Nüninghoff on P6, he's also not shy in attacking other cars. Lukas Müller in P9 is also very well. And Emre Cihan inside the top 10. Those are drivers that I expect also to at least try to make up some places. And I think our best real-world driver is Mirko Bortolotti again, P18.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't have to indeed serve some penalties at the end of this race, just like the first one. But yeah, you've just touched upon it there. Lukas Müller qualified in P14, I believe, but made up some positions during the race and got into the points. So yeah, he's definitely going to be looking to move forward here. He's in a better position. And again, Emre Cihan, both of those two drivers made up the most positions pretty much out of the full grid to gain some points, or Cihan not quite gaining points, but he knows he's able to overtake. And that's a mental block with any new car. Again, it's very tough to overtake with these cars. Of course, with DRS is a little bit easier, but it's still, we saw Nüninghoff with the jet wash of the car front. It makes it so difficult that you lose all aero or sense of aero on the front of your car. But knowing that you've got the ability to make overtakes, you've proven it in the race before, it's going to make Lukas Müller a real danger for sure.
I mean, especially Lukas Müller is a driver that knows if you have the space to move out of the slipstream just a little bit before the braking zone to get more grip, he will do it, and he can also work with it. And that also helps him to brake a little bit later. But now let's look at the current standings.
So here are the standings then, ladies and gentlemen, after round number 1. And Jack Keithley is on 29 points, of course, added that 1 point. So qualifying 2, the points have been added as well. Erhan Yuyovsky then is in second position with 18 points. Nico Nunninghoff then is on 16 points. Moritz Lerner is on 15 points. Of course, he had the 5-second time penalty in the first race. Leon Rudinger is then on 12 points in 5th. We've then got Tim Yarshall on 10 points. We've then got Martin Stefanko on 6 points. And actually, if you look there, 3 Audi drivers, top 8, 4 Audi drivers, 4 BMW drivers. So that's really quite interesting to see there. We've then got Jonas Vanna, who is on 2 points, and then Lucas Muller on that solitary 1 point. But again, seeing the live stewarding there, the 3 penalties. Moritz Lerner got 5 seconds. We've then got Wanner, who got himself 10 seconds, and Bortolotti as well, getting 10-second penalties. So yeah, they've got to be really, really on the ball and really, really careful here. There's such thing as aggression, but over-aggression is being penalised.
Yeah, I mean, over-aggression, it depends if it gets penalized. If you can be over-aggressive and not try to spin someone around, I mean, it does work. You know, rubbing is racing is what they say. And nobody says anything against a little bit of rubbing in race cars. It's virtual carbon fiber, so it doesn't get expensive for those drivers. They can't see each other they don't stand in front of each other after a crash, so they can't smash their helmets into each other. So it's a very calm way of expressing any aggressions.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, something quite poetic about drivers going side by side and there just being that slight glint of air or slight glint of light in between them where you can see that they've not had any contact. That's just the romance of motorsport for me. It's a non-contact sport. And actually, considering it was race number 1 of a new championship, the cars, again, are so new into the game. It's not like these drivers have had months upon months to practice with these cars. I thought it was really, really clean the first race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, seeing what could have possibly have been in this race. I mean, you can just look at any public lobby with these cars. But this race actually was cleaner than I thought, especially into turn 1 in the first lap, where they went 5 wide, 6 wide, and they still managed to figure out what they want to do up to turn 2, 3, and 4.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready for race number 2. But first of all, let's have a few messages from our partners.
In der Boxengasse werden die letzten Vorkehrungen getroffen. Volle Konzentration bei den Piloten. Die Spannung steigt ins Unermessliche. Ein fulminanter Start! 2 Piloten liefern sich ein knallhartes Kopf-an-Kopf-Rennen. Ich glaube, mein Schwein pfeift. Sie schmeißt den Turbo an, hebt ab und fliegt als erst ins Ziel. Auf die Pole Position. Jetzt in Führung gehen mit dem besten Gaming-Equipment zu rasant günstigen Preisen. Also gib Gummi und bring dein Gaming auf ein neues Level. Online auf mediamarkt.de/DTM. Mediamarkt.
It is race time then, ladies and gentlemen, for race 2 of the DTM Esports Championship 2020. My name is Luke Crane and I am joined by Tobias Brockman. And well, are you excited for this one?
Yes, I am.
Well, man, a few words. He is excited. Let's get it on then. Feel the roar, as it says on screen. We're about to get some red lights up on our screen, and then it will go green, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. Cars are still in the garage. They all get at least 60, or the maximum of 60 seconds to indeed ready up, and then we rock and roll. 20 minutes of action. Again, there's a long wait for next race. It is 2 weeks' time, so they will want to all leave it out on the track here today. There are the red lights here then, ladies and gentlemen, and well, we are about to go green for race number 2 then of the DTM Esports Championship 2020, and well, there's a bit of a mistake there in the background, but as it stands then down in towards turn number 1, our pole sitter is going to run down there nicely, and actually Jack Keithley's all the way down the order here. Tobias, he's now down. He's probably outside the top 10 or close to the top 10 here. The terrible stuff, big spin there in the background as well, not ideal. Well, yeah, the big story here, championship leader is all the way down the order, and Moritz Lerner leads the way.
Yeah, he does. I mean, there might have been a bad start. Of course, these cars don't have any traction control with about 600 horsepower, or PS, as they say in Germany. These are not very easy to control. It looks like everyone got on their way now, though, and we didn't lose anyone in this race. But yeah, Keithley might be furious right now.
Yeah, he's going to be furious, but he's only got himself to blame there ultimately. And we actually did a DTM Championship on Friday evening with my racing community, and we saw pole position sitter at Monza light up the rears so much that he spanned the car, and he hadn't even moved like off the line. So he span off before going across the line, off the grid. So he was down in last position before he even crossed the line. We've got the replay here, and yeah, Keithley's just been completely mugged off. Just did not get off the line at all here. Lerner covers off every angle possible there with a nice wide exit. A little bit of door banging in the background. We had a spinner as well. Again, not confirmed as to who that is who spun the car. Yeah, it doesn't look like any of the top runners. Who spun the car there? Who's down the order? Again, can't really have it confirmed here. It might have been Emre Cihan. Yeah, it might have been Emre Cihan here, to be honest. He's down at P14. But as it stands, though, Moritz Lerner's the leader. Yayovsky is in P2. So we saw some serious pace from Yayovsky. And indeed, he's again P2. P2 seems to be his position. Can he go one better, though?
Well, we will see next time. Bye. And now on the start-finish straight again. Everyone is going for the right side, for the pit wall, for the fight, so no one can take the inside. Cihan is now under investigation for a turn 2 incident. Oh, and there's a big one in the rear. I think at the last corner I saw in a lot of smoke there.
Oh, there's another big one as well there as well. Looked like there might have been Timo Glock involved there. Again, we need that to be confirmed, but yeah, as it stands then, Keithley down to P7. So winner from race number 1 is not in the hunt for the race victory as it stands, but very, very close in behind Stefanko in P6. But the lead then is Lerner. Yayovsky is in P2, 4/10 of a second behind. Nuninghoff then, again, it is between him and Lerner. The chance for redemption in this race for them two, again, it would be great for them to both. If Nuninghoff gets 2 podiums, he'd actually be relatively happy, to be fair. Yarshall then is in P4. We've got Hassett in P5, Stefanko 6th, Keithley is in 7th, and then got Romanidis in 8th position. Rudinger is in 9th, and then Wanner is in 10th position. Muller's dropped down the order here. He's in P11 as it stands. And yeah, Kelvin van der Linde, we're on board with him. He's up to P15 then. So he's taken full advantage of the mistakes being made early in this race. Jimmy Broadbent as well, up to P18. So Jim has done relatively well here as well. And yeah, for someone who's had a lack of practice, Broadbent in top 18, that's a sensational performance. Again, he's up against the very best in the world here. Well, hold on, what's going on? Yarshall's made a mistake here, so Yarshall's dropping down. Yarshall's now P10, P11. So what's happened here? We've got some action happening here as well. We've got Luciano Bedin in behind Kelvin van der Linde. And well, sorry Tobias for cutting you off there, buddy, but yeah, Yarshall's dropped down, and Luciano Bedin's trying to find a little gap here on Kelvin van der Linde.
I mean, I can only imagine on this part of the track that it must have been a little bit with something with contact. I didn't see who was with Yarshall before, but he might be furious as well now. And talking about Broadbent, why he gained so many places, I mean, he just stayed out of any Punterino.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, for sure. Kept his way out of that. That's for sure. And, well, again, the top 5 are as they were. And we've got the battle for P9 right now. We've then got Jonas Wanner, we've got Lucas Muller and Attila Dinje, number 99-10 and number 42 as it stands. And Wanner leads the way here in P9. But again, I really want to see what has happened. Oh, no, what's going on? Disqualified for speeding in the pit lane again for Fabio Scherer. It's 2 in a row. And it's another disqualification. So, again, not too sure what's going on there. But I want to know what's happened with Yarshall. So he's not too far off the lead. Still in P11. But the top 11 drivers are separated by 6 seconds. So he's still in the hunt. But, again, not too sure what's happened there. And there's been no one... Oh, is that another 10-second penalty for Bortolotti? I think Bortolotti's got another penalty here. Pajic is under investigation for lap 2, turn 1 as well. And, well, we said it was really clean in race number 1. Race number 2, a little bit more frantic there, Tobias.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they've seen how far other people go. They fought, they knew the limits of their opponents, and the moment they try to use those limits, they just close the door and stuff like this happens. Yeah.
It is what it is. But as it stands, you can just see how close the front drivers are. And while there's a proper battle in the background here, Ivanov then trying to make a move here on Cihan, and he does. I know Cihan stays ahead, sorry. So Ivanov then not able to gain that position. Just in behind them then is Adam Pinches as well. So Pinches is going to gain a position. So we're looking in front, of course. We're on board with Ivanov. So we're looking at Chihan. And then in your right-hand corner there, you can see that we've got Chihan's reverse cam as well, the wing cam, as you can see there. Ivanov trying to go around the outside. Hasse under investigation for lap 1, turn 2 as well. So lap 1 was full of investigations right there. So again, great to see that we've got live stewarding for this championship, which is only going to make it more authentic. And of course, it's going to keep these drivers from indeed making mistakes with each other. Although that seems to not be the case this race. It's been a very interesting one, that's for sure. Yayovsky, by the way, only 4 tenths behind Lerner. So it's not like the first race here, where Keithley was able to drive away Tobias. It's only 4 tenths of a second between the two of them. And Yayovsky, we saw that he really had some serious pace in the second half of the race. And, well, opportunity here for him. He's gapped Nooning off. I know, again, it's only 8 tenths of a second. It's not really a huge gap, but 8 tenths of a second in these cars is absolutely massive.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this gap that they have right now with the 3 tenths of seconds, 4 tenths of seconds. I think Yayovsky, he doesn't use too much DRS in my opinion. I think he's still saving it for later in the race, because once you're in the lead, defending gets a little bit harder.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be lovely to get a DRS counter. That'd be fantastic. And I'll tell you what, Yayovsky is now only 1.5 tenths behind. So him and Lerner coming up towards that final chicane. It's like Lerner has held on. I'm just going by the timing here. And actually, yeah, Lerner just about hangs on. And actually, if anything, gained a couple of tenths on the exit there. But yeah, Yayovsky then still in P2. And now all of a sudden, he's in the clutches of Nuninghoff. So Lerner has just backed him into the pack there very cleverly. So there's just so many strings to the bow of these drivers right now. Oh, Hasse with a 10-second penalty that will happen at the end of this race for lap 1 against Rudinger. So, yeah, not ideal there. Where is Rudinger right now? He's in P8, so, yeah, he's all good. He's in a good position here, still to score some points. But Moritz Lerner, and as it stands, I think Yayovsky, would Yayovsky take the lead of this I think Yayovsky's going to take the lead of the championship here with 2 P2s.
That might well be the case. Hasse dropping back up to, as it stands right now, P16 at least. P18 it would be now with the 10-second penalty. That actually hurts really much, and also destroys a little bit more of hopes to score in the championship, as we have only 3 main races and the big finale.
Yeah, 3 main races, well, 3 main weeks, I guess we should really state here. 6 races, and then we've got the super special great finale. Again, details will be following over the next few weeks, so keep an eye on all of the socials here. We're just heading up towards the halfway point of this race. 13 minutes, 40 seconds to go. And while we've got the battle then for P4 here. Nuninghoff then is in 4th position. He's got Rudinger just in behind him, and then Tim Yarschel is in the position behind in 6th position here. It's an all-German affair for this battle for P4. And well, as it stands, Nuninghoff in a very, very good position. Although we are on board with the drivers just up ahead here, and Jack Keithley's up to P6. So Keithley is in P6. Nuninghoff and Hasse and Stefanko then are battling here. So I don't think that graphic was correct, actually, what we were just looking at. But look at this, Nuninghoff now is in behind Yayovsky. So Lerner has just taken a couple of laps here to put a nice gap between the 2 drivers. You can see the DRS is definitely being used there by Yayovsky. The Nuninghoff is really now involved here. Front 3 separate by less than a second. And I think things are about to get spicy, Tobias.
Oh, that might very much be the case. I mean, if you have a three-way fight, of course, Lerner is going to hope that Nuninghoff closes up to Yayovsky before Yayovsky comes to the side of Lerner. But in the end, there might be as well a possibility that they might go 3 wide into turn 1. I mean, I've seen everything here on the Nürburgring.
If you go side by side through turns 1 to 4, you are in some serious trouble in terms of time. You're going to lose so much time to the drivers behind. So what Lerner might want to do here with Yayovsky, he might want to just chill out ever so slightly, and these 3 all need to be working together at this point, Nuninghoff as well, and just go, right, let's get to the final couple of laps together as a 3, and it becomes a 3-way battle for the race lead. If we battle with each other here, it could potentially become a 7. It could potentially become an 8-driver lottery as to who wins this race. So if they're clever here, they'll work together, not put too much pressure on each other, and go towards the final couple of laps just as a threesome. I don't know what your stance is on that, Tobias, but racing drivers don't tend to work together too often.
I mean, there is a possibility. At least we have, you have two BMWs driving in there, so at least these two should work together if they get a call from the company. If you would, in the real DTM, but I think they do. It's like a non-written down agreement on that matter. As Jimmy Broadbent gets chased by Sheldon van der Linde.
Yeah, I just saw that Sheldon van der Linde and Kelvin van der Linde were both under investigation there, and they've both been given, well, they've not even been given a warning, they've both been let off there, so I don't know what sort of shenanigans they've been up to. Maybe something from their youth, I don't know. Someone spent too long on the family PlayStation. But yeah, neither are in trouble here. Sheldon van der Linde, though, making a potential move up the inside here towards the final corner, and Jimmy Broadbent, well, he closes that door, and well, Jimmer holding on pretty nicely there. He does hold on nicely, although Sheldon is going to make it too wide as we come down. No, he's not. He's not close enough. So Jimmer there showed some real aggression in his defence. Sheldon tried to, I don't know, a genuine push to pass. That might be called there, a little bit of a love tap. And, well, he couldn't get the move done initially. Down towards turn one, though, he has. Jimmy Broadbent around the outside. Flames coming out of Sheldon van der Linde's car. He's going to run out wide here. Will Jimmer be able to get on the brakes late? He's gone for it. He has gone for it through turn three. Uses the curb to rotate the car. Contact once again between the two, but I think Jimmer might have the run here. Not quite. Oh, just loses the momentum. But I tell you what, this is a great little battle between these two.
Yeah, that was definitely great to see, and you could see Jimmer had the right ideas, but Sheldon always anticipated it and just blocked him with that. I mean, you have a car with a width of 2 meters and something, and suddenly it gets like 6 meters wide. And Nüninghoff again with the slide out of the turn onto the elbow.
Say take all real racing accolades out of the way, or just you look at someone like Jimmy Broadbent. You don't become a Le Mans winner in esports on iRacing without being an incredible sim racer. So he's got the talent, that's for sure. And of course, Sheldon van der Linde, well, he's won his first ever DTM race in the legit championship, the main championship. So yeah, he's definitely got some pedigree as well. And he showcased during the summer as well how good he is at sim racing. We've got Ivanov then still battling here with Pinches. Pinches makes the move. Bit of contact between the two. But I think the big factor here is that we actually saw that Yarshul has got an investigation against him for turn 12, lap number 2. So maybe he did have contact between the two, and he's using the pit lane here for Ivanov. Ivanov trying to make the move up the inside to turn 1. Pinches really did pinch him there and made him use the pit lane. He then had to indeed move left to make sure that he didn't force a driver onto the grass. And wow, the move is done, and that is an aggressive move, but pulled off beautifully well there from Roman Ivanov. The leaders, by the way, 0.8 of a second between them, and actually they went down into turn number 1 almost 3 abreast. And it's now half a second here, so we need to get onto the leaders, need to be looking at these leaders at this point, because that is where it's going to come down to. 8 minutes 50 seconds to go, and there's only 0.6 between them. So here we are then, they're the front three. Lerner leads the way. It is Yuyovsky in second, and I think Nüninghoff has got the most pace here. He's been keeping Yuyovsky honest this entire race here, and now he's starting to use a little bit more curb as they come up towards then the left-right here before they enter the final chicane. Nüninghoff then is in very close proximity. Again, you can just see he's just ever so slightly over the limit on exits of corners. He's always having to overcorrect, and that's costing him time at this point of this race. Yuyovsky, we've seen him at this stage of the race really closing on race leaders. So has he kept any DRS here? We're watching Nüninghoff, who's actually closing up to Yuyovsky. Yuyovsky's closing up to the race leader, using all the curb in the world here. Again, it's a high risk, high reward. You will unsettle the car, means you cannot get on the power early enough. But ultimately, all three are doing a pretty good job at it because they're leading here, and it's not really affecting them too well. Across the line they go. 7 minutes 50 seconds, Tobias. Who's going to get the job done here? Lerner looks good, Yuyovsky looks good, and Nüninghoff also looks good. And I think it might come down to who holds their nerve.
Yeah, and I feel that Nüninghoff might be going for it right now. I just had the feeling he at least tries to. And now that does cost time, so Nüninghoff better get this done right, but he can't hold it on the outside.
No, it's cost them both time here. You're right there, Tobias. It was one of those almost contact now between the two. Yuyovsky there, maybe with a little bit of clever early braking there, just to force Nüninghoff to be. Well, look at this, the gap. It's exactly there. It looked like Yuyovsky may have just broken a couple of meters earlier to indeed force the pressure on Nüninghoff. But now they've lost loads of time to Moritz Lerner. So Lerner will be loving this in his rearview mirror. Well, I say rearview mirror. They've got big cameras in the middle of their dashboard now. In the rearview camera, he would have been looking at that, loving life. and able to just drive away. And well, maybe he's going to get one lap here where he hasn't got so much pressure from behind. Although you can see that actually Yuyovsky is going along with him nicely. But look at the battling here. We said this. We said near the end of this race that it might become a 4, 5, 6, 7-way battle. They are closing now just because of the sheer battling happening at the front of this circuit.
Yeah, and you could also see Yuyovsky just using the DRS into the hairpin, or before the hairpin rather. Yeah, he's going aggressive now, and DRS is open again for Yuyovsky, so he is really just wanting to go for it around. Yeah, there you can see again, there was contact from Nüninghoff at Yuyovsky, so they were both going aggressively, and someone's is off in the back.
I think Yuyovsky's done it was very clever there. He's just lent on his experience on the brakes just a touch early, and Nüninghoff has to back off and then gets punchy on the exit. Ivanov then still battling here with, oh no, Luciano Bedin's actually involved here. So Luciano Bedin's the meat now in a Pinches and Ivanov sandwich. So, I'm sorry, Ivanov. So Ivanov then holding on to what would be P13, and well, he's been battling with Pinches this whole entire race. Sometimes, of course, everyone wants to win races. Sometimes this is why we do sim racing. These battles right now, keeping it close, keeping it calm, keeping it collective, gaining that position near the end of the race. And it's been superb here from the entire field. It's been very, very enjoyable. And oh, there you go. Ivanov is off. Exit stage right. So not ideal for him. He's been battling over, I guess, with the battling they've been having here, his tyres may have overheated there, and ultimately not having the grip on the exit of turn number 1, which I would say around this circuit, Tobias, is the one that you really need the grip for.
Yeah, I mean, just don't get too aggressive or too early on the throttle here. Otherwise, the track is just going to nope you out of it between the racing lines, and you end up on the green parts of the track.
Just a whole lot of nope. Yeah, and I think that would be the only turn with a first gear exit, I would say. I reckon it'd be a short shift up to gear 2. But yeah, it will be I would say that's the only corner. Even the hairpin in sector 2 would be, I would say, second gear. So yeah, I think it'd be a short shift of gear 2 though. Well, you're not going to be trying to indeed gain loads of traction from gear 1. So that's why you do need to keep the tyres under sort of a decent temperature range. The Macedonian then, Erhan Yuyovsky in P2 is now 3.5 tenths here. A racing incident between Yarshall and Muller on lap 4, turn 2. So there's a racing incident between the two, and it's been deemed as that, which is great news for all concerned. But now we come to where they really earn the points here. 4 minutes, 20 seconds to go. It's Moritz Lerner then versus Yuyovsky. Nüninghoff then is in P3. We feel like it will be Yuyovsky that will take the lead of this championship. Of course, if there wasn't any points in qualifying, it would be signed, sealed, delivered. That would be a fact. But due to the qualifying points, we will have to wait to find out here, which is great, because it means we all get really excited and we've got something to look forward to. It's a bit like Christmas of sim racing at this point. The front three, I'll tell you what, they are side by side. So Moritz Lerner is indeed in the lead, but Nüninghoff, is he making a move? Nüninghoff again just squeezed out, and Yuyovsky holds on, and Lerner again being given an opportunity by P2 and P3 to drive away here.
Yeah, but he doesn't quite do it. I think, you see them battling and rubbing and doing every sorts of stuff during the Mercedes arena section, which seems to be Nüninghoff's best part of the track, or the one where he feels most confident. But you can see Moritz Lerner, is he having a little grin, a little smirk in his face for a second there?
Don't be silly. Don't be silly. I mean, Moritz Lerner grinning. A German racing driver grinning, having fun, enjoying himself. Oh, have a word with yourself. That's not how the world works. Until he crosses the line, there'll be no such thing as a smile. There'll be no such thing. Maybe he was just breaking wind. That might be making more sense there. We got the Jack Keithley, Erhan Yuyovsky, and Moritz Lerner. Again, I think that these graphics are actually from race number 1 as it stands here. So ignore that at the bottom of your screen. Don't worry about that too much, because the battle is right now between Moritz Lerner, it is between Erhan Yuyovsky, and it is between our third position driver, and I've just completely lost his name. It's Nüninghoff. I completely went blank there. But yeah, that's the top 3. Nüninghoff, though, has just dropped off the back ever so slightly here, Tobias. And well, here we go. Here is the run for the lead of the race here. Will the Macedonian make it? No, he will not. So he's going to have to wait for this opportunity. And I think you're right here. I think he's done the same as race number 1, where he has indeed saved up as much DRS as possible for the end of this race.
Well, Yuyovsky used quite a lot of DRS already during this race, but he still has some left, I guess. So now we're looking at Emre Cihan in the MediaMarkt car. He's still pretending to fight with Rüdiger, and that was a close one. If that hit the rear of the car, they would have spun.
Yeah, Chihan's actually like the Mr. Overtake for today. He's going up through the pack every single race. So actually, there's one position to go here, and he will get into the points. So we know if he gets an opportunity, he's going to take it on. With only 2 laps remaining of this race, 7/10 of a second between the front 3. Yeah, you got to think Yuyovski, if he has saved some DRS here, he is going to be a huge danger. And well, they're coming through the Schumacher S's. There we go. That's what we want to look at. We want to be looking at the leaders right now. This is where the action is. As it stands, then Lerner leads the way. Yuyovski in second position, using loads of curb there. Indeed, on entry, he's going to lose some time, but on exit, he should be pretty good. Although you can see then Nüninghoff is in third position. Yes, I remembered his name. Oh, that's only because it's on my screen. Through the elbow we come, and Yuyovski, oh, he's got a great run here, by the way. Lerner's going to go defensive, then up towards the final chicane. Then he squeezes Yuyovski out wide. I think Lerner's going to be under pressure into the final corner. He is going to be under pressure in the final corner here. And Yuyovski not quite close enough. Nüninghoff there, just trying to get into the mirrors, trying to play with Yuyovski. And we head on to the final lap of this race, and it still could be anybody's from the front 3. I'm not too sure what's happened there. And well, all of the cars have gone across the line. And I think the race has been called there.
Yeah, that looked like the race has been called there, yeah.
Yeah, I think the race is over there with 45 seconds to go on the clock. I think the race might be over here. So Moritz Lerner will take the checkered flag as it stands. Yuyovski's going to finish in second. But we feel like there was officially 40 seconds left to go in this race, which is, again, we will get absolute confirmation of what has happened there. But yeah, it will be Moritz Lerner then, who is P1, Yuyovski P2, Nüninghoff in P3, Hasser is in P4, Stefanko P5. And while the fastest lap of the race was actually Stefanko, who was 7th position at the start of this race, gets into P5. And yeah, a little bit of an abrupt end to that race there. But Tobias, we have got a lot to look forward to over the next few weeks, because we got some superstars in this championship.
Yeah, I mean, seeing those rivalries already coming up, I think Lerner can be happy that this was apparently the last lap of the race, because if there was another lap, I think Yuyovski would have gone for it.
Yeah, I think so too. And, you know, there may be, if the race has ended early here, there may be a cause for Yuyovski to complain, because if he has saved some DRS and he has saved some the push to pass, then there was every reason to suggest that he might indeed be able to win this race. But unfortunately, it's not worked out here. Moritz Lerner, we think, has got the victory in this race. But I think the championship lead may go to Yuyovski, but it's going to be very tight at the top there. And it looks like we've pretty much got a clear top 4. At this point, being Jack Keithley, Yuyovski, Lerner, and indeed Nüninghoff. But there was battles all through the pack as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've seen the race control looking at all sorts of stuff. They've constantly put out the message that they're looking at things. I mean, you know, 10 minutes into the race, or 12 minutes already, and they were still looking at lap 4. So you can see all these guys getting more and more competitive over the evening, and maybe even over the series of events that we have.
Yeah, so, well, it looks like we are going to be able to speak to our race winner from race number 2. And, well, I've spoken to this guy a few times over the years. And Moritz Lerner, can you hear us?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yay! Someone can hear us.
See, he's smiling.
Well, yeah, I told you, like, German racers don't smile during races, but after races, when they win, of course they're going to smile. Moritz, congratulations, my friend. A very, very good race victory. You had Yuyovski up your chuff pipe for the entirety of that race there. How does it feel?
It feels pretty good. I didn't expect my qualifying performance at all, like P2 and P1. That was incredible. I really didn't expect it. And yeah, race 2 was just keeping Erhan behind me. It was actually easier than I thought because of all the push to pass and DRS. I thought he will attack me like every lap constantly. But I think the dirty air has a quite big impact on the car behind. So I was always able to like push a gap before the long straights. And yeah, that's how I could keep him behind me and win the race.
Yeah, the cars behind you, it was like they're on ice skates. Like, it's just seen, especially Nüninghoff, he was really struggling with the dirty air in terms of both races. Let's talk about the differences. Obviously, you've driven on Race Room for many, many years now. What are the positives of this new car in terms? Let's not talk about your personal preference to the car, but what it does for the racing.
I want to say the personal preference of the car. I think it's awesome. High downforce car with a lot of horsepower. It's great to race, but I really struggled hard to get used to it. After we had GT3 racing some days ago, it was really tough to get used to the car, because it's like completely turned around to a GT3 car. You have to push it way more. You have to like throw it into the corners. You have to throw it out of the corners. It's insanely tough to get used to it when you come from different GT racing.
Yeah, we've alluded to this over the course of the broadcast here, that Moritz, yourself, you're one of the better all-rounders in terms of different car types and stuff, and you're actually in the ADAC GT Masters Championship currently as well. So, to be at the top level across both disciplines is absolutely incredible. But from me and from Tobias, I just want to say a massive congratulations on your race victory. And well, this could be the moment of things to come for the season.
Thank you very much. Hopefully, see you guys next time.
So there you go, Tobias. There is our race winner from race number 2, Moritz Lerner. And well, like he said, he was under pressure from Yuyovski. He didn't feel like Yuyovski. He thought Yuyovski was going to make the move every single lap. It didn't quite play out like that because of the new DRS rules and the push to pass. He was able to manage it really well. But that's the sign of a potential champion, right? Being able to manage a performance there when you're no further than half a second for a full 20-minute race away from your second position.
Yeah, that is definitely true, but we also learned how important the aerodynamics are on these new cars this time by. I mean, coming from where the DTM cars came from to where they are in 2020, it's quite a big gap. And especially, as Luna said, the GT3 to the new DTM car, high downforce, low mechanical grip, that might play a role as well in the future, especially in tracks with even more corners, fast corners especially.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to see what the future of this championship holds. I feel like we've got a really good group of drivers. Again, not only at the top end of the grid through the mid part, and indeed at the rear end of the grid as well. We saw a little battle between Jimmy Broadbent and Sheldon van der Linde. Sheldon came out on top, though, with, I don't know, a very aggressive move into the final corner, but actually set himself up for turn number 1. But it's just good to see, pro drivers versus, sim racing YouTubers going at it like that. And both of them would have had a smile on their face and really enjoyed that.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's nice to see that our real racing drivers that we have in there are having fun. Jimmy in there, maybe not up as much because of the lack of training that he had, but you can still see that he enjoyed the racing that he did over there, and probably everyone who was watching him with him as well.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more there. It looks like Kelvin's come out on top of the van der Linde battle for the week this week, but then there's always a few more weeks to go, which is fantastic to see. Yuyovski, the most consistent driver out of everybody. We saw it could have been Jack Keithley. Keithley was amazing in race number 1, but just didn't get off the line. And it just goes to show how vital the starts are for these races, Tobias. And well, Yuyovski, P2 twice in this championship. And well, will that see him at the top of the championship? We're about to find out. Yeah, we're just about, just a little bit of an issue here, but we've got it on screen now, so we are all good then. And well, it's Jack Keithley then that will take the spoils with 54 points. Wow. Hold on, 54 points? That is absolutely huge there. I'm not too sure whether that is officially correct. Erhan Yuyovski then is on 36 points. Yeah, that can't be correct because the maximum points you could have got for the week is 56. So I don't think that's actually correct there.
He should be on 36 points. He gained 28 in the first race, then 8 on P6 in the second one, if nothing changed over there.
Plus
still
qualifying.
Yeah. Plus qualifying, yeah, it's 28, 8 plus 9. So it's somewhere around there, but it can't be 54. But still, Yuyovski, great result there.
Yeah, so I think Yuyovski will be in. I don't know. I think it's going to be close between the two. They're going to be very close in terms of points. We've got Moritz Lerner then, who is in 3rd position. But again, I feel like he surely scored more than 5 points in race number 1. I just don't think these points are correct here. So let's not reference these. I feel like we'll get the official points up on screen a little bit later on here. And let's just talk about Erhan Yuyovski, as I was about to allude to. P2 twice, the most consistent driver here. He had a lot of pressure from behind. He was also trying to pile the pressure on in front, but didn't really make a mistake here today. We saw Lerner was making a couple of mistakes in race number 1. Keithley made a mistake at the start of the race. Nuninghoff, of course, famously had that huge mistake in race number 1. Yayovsky looks cool as a cucumber right now, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And if my calculations are correct, which are of course not official, then Jack Keithley, including his qualifying lap, should have 37 points now. And Yayovsky, who missed out on the podium in qualifying, on the P3 in qualifying, is on 36 points. So it's a close one already, if the official numbers are correct as well.
Yeah, so there we go then, ladies and gentlemen. It is first 2 races in the books. I've had an absolute blast here, Tobias. Hopefully you have as well. But we will leave you with the highlights of the day. And we're going to be back in 2 weeks' time. Again, the track's a secret, but I tell you what, what's not a secret? We are going to be in for a cracking set of races.